Hey guys, welcome back to the Speaker's Edge podcast, the podcast dedicated to helping you learn from some of the world's very best speakers and communicators so that you can master your message and inspire your audience every single time you speak. I'm your host for this podcast, Roddy Galbraith, and I'm thrilled you've chosen to join us today, and I think you're going to be very pleased that you've chosen to join us today as well, because we have a very special guest, John Maxwell, a masterclass on communication from John Maxwell. We're going to dig into that discussion with him. He was here earlier in the week in the studio doing some filming. I also had the opportunity to pick his brains on some of the gems from his 50, 60 years of very intentional growth as a speaker. So we're going to dig into that. But before we get to that, if you haven't downloaded the companion resources for the show, you can go to maxwellleadership.com/The Speaker's Edge and download those resources. And we'd love it if on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, if you rate and review the show if you enjoy it as well. So we said that this podcast is all about learning from some of the world's very best speakers and communicators, and we have some great communicators in future episodes for you, but we're going to learn from John today. So take plenty of notes as he says things that resonate with you, that you like, that you think you need to think about, great insights on speaking and communicating or anything else. Write them down and we'll discuss them at the end. I'm going to take notes too, and we can compare notes at the end. So here's John. Enjoy. So thanks for doing this, John. I thought it'd be great for us to have a chit chat about communication since you're here.
I love the subject.
You just did a great job on the financial wisdom. Of course, it's always good to listen to you and your unique takes on things. But you're whether it's in this virtual setting or live on stage, you're such a fantastic communicator.
Well, thank you. I love to communicate, and I love the people I communicate to. I think you have to like both of them to make it
yeah,
really
it helps.
happen.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you as well, because you are now, one of the best communicators in the world, no doubt in my mind, because you're so good. You're so focused, you're so diligent, but in such a wide area of material, there's so many different bits that you can speak on. You're not like a one-trick pony. There's so much that you can do. But yet still, over the last, how long have I known you now? Since 2010, you've poured into the speaking and training lane of the Maxwell Leadership Certified team.
Yes.
So thank you for pouring back into people at the beginning.
Well, I love it. I love our people. I love our coaches. And nothing pleases me more is when they improve. I mean, we're really in the game to help you improve. I mean, when you think about it, I want to make a difference. And the best way to make a difference is to make a difference through people. In the beginning, I just said, I'll try to make a difference myself, and I could make a little difference. But today I realized that you can make a big difference through people. You can make a little difference by yourself. Then I said, okay, then I think I'm going to equip, train, empower, and help people get better and make them more successful. Of course, it's what we do in the coaching company, trying to help everybody get better.
And how important is, when you're talking about getting better, how important is communication in that, do you think, for people?
Well, I think it's the most important thing you could do. I'm known for leadership. Everything rises and falls on leadership. But honestly, Warren Buffett said, the most important skill a person could have is the skill of communication. And I think what he meant by that is that if you cannot connect with people and communicate your vision and the direction you want and your values, then how are they going to catch it? If they can't catch it, how are they going to help you? They can't help you if they can't understand where you are and where you're going and know your heart. So I think communication, the ability to connect with people, is so essential to success in life.
I'm glad you said that. Yeah, it's so important because we interact with people all the time. If we can get better at those interactions, we're going to be getting better and more successful at life, aren't we? We really
totally.
are.
And you know what? Somebody said, well, I don't have the opportunity to speak a lot. How can I improve my communication? And I said, when I speak to crowds, I guess, but I really, when I talk to people, one individual at a time.
Right.
I mean, I sit on my stool and I have a conversation with people. And I think in the working on just your ability to connect in conversations, if you can connect with one, you can connect with 10. But honestly, if you can't connect with one, don't try 10. Adding more people isn't going to help you. You've got to be able to connect with that person. And then if you can, the same tools and avenues and channels of connecting with one person will help you connect with many.
That's a really neat idea, because we think of an audience as this big scary thing, but it's made up out of individuals, isn't it? Like you said, you're connecting with them.
I had a person recently. I was speaking to about 3,000 people, and just happened as I was walking through the crowd, they stopped me, and they said to me, "Well, you spoke today to all of us. I felt like you were just talking to me." And I looked at them. I said, "I was." That's exactly what I was just talking to you. It just happened that 2,999 other people happened to be in the room so they could hear it too. But I think that communication, to be effective, needs to always be personal. And if you can do that, then everybody feels like they're special.
That's so good. So you've been speaking now. When I first started studying you, which is from 2010 onwards, you'd been speaking like nearly 50 years. Now, over 60 years, you've been very intentional. So looking back now, so you're a fantastic speaker now. You've got 60 plus years of very intentional growth as a communicator. Is there anything you'd do differently? Is there any advice you could give yourself at the beginning of that journey from where you are now that you'd say, okay, young John, this is what you want to do?
Well, I think we would all do some things differently, because if we didn't say that, it would mean that we never made mistakes. And I think all of us make mistakes. But I would say this: when I was young, and you've heard me talk about this, Roddy, when I was very young and I realized I had charisma and I had the ability to kind of off the cuff, just kind of wing it, the decision I made to work at it instead of wing it was foundational. So this morning at 4 o'clock, while everybody else is at rest, I'm in my robe, I'm at my desk, and I'm writing a whole new teaching. And by 8:30, I was finished with that one. And I never stopped reading, I never stopped thinking, I never stopped creating, I never stopped writing. And it's not like you arrive and one day you don't have to do anything else. What happens is this: if you've done that all of your life, you have stored so much in you. Remember, I talk about it has to be stored up before it shows up.
Right.
So I store it. So when I talk very easily about basically any subject, but it's because I'm 78 years of age and I've had a lot of experience. But so there's a part where you store up so that it will show up. But there's another part where you have to continually learn it to earn it. And I do that really well. I never say, I have a reservoir full of communication water and I don't need to read anymore, study anymore, write anymore, think anymore. I'm just going to let it flow, and it'll just keep on flowing. And what we don't realize is you may have a lot stored up, but you can't stay passionate about things that you've known in the past. Passion comes out of what you're learning now and how you're growing now. So when people say, how do you get your energy? How do you get your enthusiasm? How do you get your anticipation? It's very simple. I'm still learning so that I can keep earning. And if I wasn't on that growing edge, don't ever mistake the fact that you can get enough, that it's enough. It's never enough. We have to keep learning and growing so that we have that passion, so we can say, just yesterday I thought about this, or just a couple of days ago, last week I was having a conversation that's relevant. And passion is in kind of what we're learning now, not what we have learned. And I think there's a difference. So I think it's not both and, I think it's either or. And I think I'm now living a life of hopefully both and.
Does it work to you when you talk about that?
No,
when you talk about
work.
It's a joy.
I would like to tell you that it's work and I'm very disciplined and that, I'm amazing, but it's not work. I was born to think. I was born to write. I was born to create. I was born to speak. Now I was born to do all that, but now I have to develop it. So I tell people, just because you're born with it doesn't, some people think they hit a triple when they were born on third base, but I want to tell them it doesn't matter. You still got to get home. But I never know anybody win a ball game by being on third base. And so wherever you are in your talent and your giftedness, you got to keep running. You got to keep moving to that place of great significance.
Yesterday's home run won't win today's game.
And that's true. Won't win today's. Yesterday's home run won't win today's game. And so I'm grateful for yesterday's game, and I'm grateful for yesterday's home run, and that's all part of who I am. But I think the difference is that I've never lost my appetite to learn. Somebody asked me the other day, said, now what do you like best, communicating or writing or creating or thinking? I said, learning. I like learning best.
That's good.
I still, if somebody's teaching, I'm on the front row and I'm taking notes, I'm learning and I'm filing, and then I'm applying it to my life. And I think that's the secret of great communication. It keeps me relevant, but it also keeps me passionate.
So, how many more books I'm going to put you on the spot. How many more books do you think you've got in you?
Well, I have 14 in line.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I have 14 that are in line. They're in the book birthing line.
Right.
And they're raising their hands saying, I'm next, I'm next. And so, and in fact, for the first time, I'm finding, in fact, I had to kind of settle and just maybe about 2 months ago, because I was finding I was wanting to write about 4 books at a time.
Right.
And it's because I love this, I want to do this one. And so I was kind of doing 4 books at a time. And then I realized that, that focus on what's next. And so I'm now focused on what's next. And I'm still thinking and filing on the others, but I'm focused on what's next.
You got a great system, but I just want to put something in your mind, you see, because you said at the beginning that speaking is one of the most important areas that there is for a person to learn, that it's so important for interaction.
Yes.
Then, of course, 16 Undeniable Laws of Communication, which is a fantastic book and is a great book on communication, which was more recent. What was that, a couple of years ago?
Yes, it's very solid.
Yeah, fantastic. And I see you when we give away loads of them on Saturdays that you've signed for us. I'm going to be coming back to get some more signed soon, actually. We're nearly giving the last lot away.
Be glad to.
But in that book, and you talked about it this time, and always you talk about it, on chapter 7 on connecting, you say this is the most important idea in the whole book.
Yes, correct.
You wrote a book called Everyone Communicates, Few Connect. What? 15 years ago? Was it 20 years ago?
No. I bet,
it's probably
I want to
20.
say 10, but it was 15.
More than 10. It's more than 10.
Yeah, but it wasn't 20. But it would be 15. Yeah, probably.
So communication is the most important skill people can learn. Connecting, is the biggest idea in the book.
Correct.
It's such a good book. Everyone Communicates, Few Connect. I think you need to do a 10, 15, 12, whatever it is coming. You need to do it again.
or maybe not do it again, but maybe revise.
Right. Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. Sorry, you've done.
I have. I've revised some of the other books, and I think you're probably right. What I tell people is that the 16 laws of communication is foundational.
It's really good. Yeah,
It's like the 21 laws of leadership. It's just learn these laws, get them under your belt, stand on those laws. But really, everyone communicates, but few connect is heart.
Yeah, but it's a whole book about connecting.
It's almost like this. It's almost like the sizzle on the steak. You just see that steak and you just hear that and smell it. You say, oh, man, I got to have it. And connecting is so huge. But let me just say this, and I think probably now, if I have to go revise it, that makes 15, right?
But it should be the last one you did.
You just added more work to my load. My gosh, what am I talking to you for? Hey, what am I talking? I got to get out of here. I got to start writing again. But here's what I would like everybody to understand about connecting. I've never known a person that didn't care that connected well.
Right.
There's a relationship between I care for you and I connect with you. And that's why I tell leaders that, when you stop loving people, stop leading people. Well, I think it's true also with communication. Or when what you say is so much in your past that it's rote. And it doesn't have life to it. I mean, what you say is good, but it doesn't live. It doesn't breathe. And connecting breathes and it lives and it's caring. And so it's all about heart. It really is. It's about heart. And I think
good.
One of my superpowers of connecting is that people know I really care for them and I'm their friend.
Yeah.
And that I really do want what's best for them. And I really do want them to be successful. And I do want to let them know all that I know so that they can get on my shoulders and go higher than I ever went. I think that's essential. And I think that's the core of connecting that's kind of a miss.
Yeah, maybe it's due for a 15th, 20th version.
Roddy, this is the last interview you're getting for a while. I won't have it. You'll say, let's do something else. I don't have time. I got to go write up another book. It's all your fault.
Well, no, I so admire your ability to focus because I'm interested in everything, and I work hard as well, not as hard as you.
You are. You're
I work
very
hard,
good,
but
yes.
I'm interested in everything, and you are like, no, I get up and I write. I get up and I write.
Yeah. I think it's because you're multi-talented and I'm not. I mean, talented people, gifted people, like they can do like 7 things. I can't do 7 things. Somebody asked me the other day, they said, well, how do you keep from being distracted? And I said, I don't allow myself to be distracted.
Yeah, that's a discipline.
If people realized how little I care about what most people care about, they would be able to care about the things that I care about and be much more committed and much more focused on what they want to accomplish. And so I've really made a decision early on in my life that I don't need to know everything. I'm not going to win the trivia quiz. I'm not well-rounded. That's not who I am. I do a few things really well. It's like Tom Watson at IBM. He said, I'm only smart in a few things, and so I have a tendency to stay around those things.
Right.
But
then you get really good at those things.
I think so. I think the power of compounding and being effective is the fact that you really do stay on one thing and develop it. At least that's how I do it.
He's just so good, isn't he? So good. Every time he opens his mouth, there's so much great stuff that comes out. I've interviewed John many times for hours, spoken to him at great length about communication over the last 15 years. And still to this day, even just in a few minutes, there's so many things that he says that I've never thought of it like that before. I'm not sure I've heard him say that before. So there's so much gold in this. We're going to dig into it in just a moment. But before we get to that, you heard John talk about the team, the Maxwell Leadership Certified Team. If you're interested in developing your speaking skills, then check out the Maxwell Leadership Certified Team. There's nearly 60,000 coaches now around the world in over 168 countries and growing like crazy every single year. Check it out. Just go to maxwellleadership.com/speak. Speak to one of the advisors and find out if it's a fit for you. No obligation, of course. All right, so hopefully you took plenty of notes as we went through. There's loads of great things in here. I've picked out 8 key themes that I thought we could discuss. There's more. There's many more, but here's some that we can just kind of focus on from this short message. So number 1, the first thing he said that I think we need to take note of is communication is the most important skill that we can develop. Communicating, working on communicating, developing as a speaker is the most important thing we can do, he said. He quoted Warren Buffett, didn't he, saying that the most important skill a person can have is the skill of communication. So it's definitely, whether you see yourself as a speaker or not, it's definitely worth developing your communication skills because it will do more for you than any other skill that you can develop. Listen to Warren Buffett, listen to John Maxwell, listen to many, many others as well. He said, I think communication and the ability to connect with people so you can influence them, communicate with them, is essential skill for success in life. The essential skill for success in life. So that was the first thing, the importance of communication. The second thing I liked is when he said you can make a big difference, you can make a big impact through people. Well, if we're going to make an impact with people, through people, we need to be able to connect with them, don't we? And as social beings, we do so much of this all the time. We're always interacting with other people. And practically every single one of those interactions with other people is an attempt to influence. They're attempting to influence us and we're attempting to influence them. So if we can get better at those interactions, then it's no exaggeration to say we are getting better and more successful at life. And when I put that question to John, he said, without a doubt, that is true. Without a doubt, that is true. So whether you see yourself as a speaker or not, everyone needs to work at developing their communication skills so that we can collaborate better with other people. All right, number 3. We're talking about leadership, really. He said that, if you've got a team of people, they can't help you if they don't understand where you are, if they don't understand where you're trying to go. If you can't connect with people and communicate your vision, how are they going to catch that vision? They're not going to catch it, are they? If you can't communicate it, you're the leader, it's your vision. If you can't communicate it, they're never going to get it. And if they can't catch it, if they don't get it, then how are they going to help you build it? So obviously, communication is important for leaders. That was number 3. Number 4, communication to be effective, he said, has to be personal. I love this. This is so powerful because very often we think of an audience as a thing, but it's not. It's a concept. An audience is made up of individuals and we connect with them one at a time. The best compliment that you can get after you've spoken is somebody comes up to you and says, I felt like you were talking just to me. I felt like you were talking just to me. And John says somebody said exactly that to him recently. And he said, well, I was speaking just to you. It just so happened that there was 2,999 other people in the room who were there who could hear it too, but I was speaking just to you. That's so good, isn't it? So good. And the same tools and channels of communicating, the same tips and tricks, the same approaches that work for an audience work with the individual, and vice versa. If they work with the individual, then they work for an audience, because an audience is made up of individuals. So if you can connect with one person, you can connect with many people. So talk to one person at a time, connect with them. That will help you connect with more people, with larger groups of people. Now, if you can't connect with one person, it's not going to get any easier with 10. I can't connect with one person, but I can connect with an audience. No, it's made up of individuals. It's made up of one person. So if you can't connect with one person, don't try and connect with 10. But the same skills are going to help you connect with 100, or 100,000. All right, number 5, there's a relationship between I care about you and I can connect with you. If you think that I care about you, you're going to much more likely to let me in. If you don't think I care, if you don't feel like you know, like, and trust me, then you're not going to let me in. You're going to sit back, and you retain that ability. We all do, all the time. And then John said, I've never known a person that didn't care that was able to connect. So there's this relationship between caring and connecting. Sure, we can trick people for a period of time, but over time it comes through. Subconsciously, we pick up on it. We know when people care. We know when people have our best interests. And when you don't care, when that stops, he said, when you stop loving people, stop leading them. All right, number 6 then, nearly there. He said, I continually learn it so I can keep earning it. So continually learning is a key part of being able to keep teaching, keep being relevant, he said. And he talked about years ago, didn't he, where he said, I realized I had charisma, and I realized I had the ability to just speak off the cuff. I could take shortcuts in my strength zones. I could just wing it. But there was a point where he made the decision that he was going to work it and not wing it. And that decision to continually work at it, even though that it's a big strength for him, he said was absolutely foundational to his success. And so he never stopped, and still to this day, never stops reading, thinking, creating, writing. You can't stay passionate if you're not doing those things, he said. Your passion doesn't stay with you from things you learned in the past. Your passion stays with you and sticks with you and emerges out of what you're learning now, where you're growing now. So when people say to him, where do you get your energy, John? He says it's very simple. I'm still learning so that I can keep earning. I'm constantly on that growing edge, constantly on that growing edge. So we have to keep learning and growing, he said, so that we can continually have the passion for what it is we're communicating. So good, isn't it? Really, really good. Number 7, he said, I was born to think, write, create, speak, but I've had to develop them. So you could say that he has these natural gifts and talents. He has these abilities, these strengths, but he still had to develop them. That's where he started with these strengths. He still had to move forward from there. And then I'm guessing it's a baseball metaphor where he said some people think they hit a triple because they were born on third base. I had to think about that for a little while to say, oh my goodness, that's so good. I've often talked about, like you can't be proud of the fact that you're 6'3" because you had nothing to do with it. You can be grateful you're 6'3" if that's important to you, but you can't be proud because you had nothing to do with it. Where are you going to go from there? What are you going to use your natural start in this life to do? Where are you going to be? It's like if I'm proud of being English, I'm proud to be born in England. I had nothing to do with that. I could be grateful. What am I going to do now? Or substitute your country. So the things we've had nothing to do with, or where we start out in life, and it doesn't matter where we're starting, it's a kind of personal journey for all of us, isn't it? We can move forwards from there, and all of us can develop our communication skills. So I love that. He had these gifts and talents. That's the starting point. He had to develop them, and to this day continues to have to develop them. And then lastly, number 8, he said, people often come up to him and say, how do you keep from being distracted, John? And he said, it's very simple. I don't allow myself to be distracted. That discipline. So I find it really difficult because I'm interested in so many things. John says, I'm only interested in a few things. I'm only good at a few things. I've stuck at it. He said, I made that decision early on in my life that I don't need to know everything. I'm not gonna learn everything. I'm not gonna win the trivia quiz. I'm not well-rounded as an individual. He told us I'm not well-rounded. That's not who I am. But I have picked the 3 things, 4 things, 5 things that he does every day that he wants to be very, very good at. And speaking is the most important of those. We know John as a leadership expert because he's such a great communicator. I've been around John for 15 years. As I said, I've had many, many deep conversations about communication with him, interviewed him many times over the years, asked him so many questions and discussed so many elements of this. And every time he shares something about communication, there's so much gold in there that I'm like, oh, I've never seen it before, never heard that before. And this was no exception. I've been through it several times just in the last few days since the recording. And each time I'm like, oh, I never thought of it like that before. So much great stuff. I'm sure you had many great things too. So quick summary then, what are the 8 things that I drew out? Communication is the most important thing you can do, most important skill you can develop. You can make a big difference through people, and communication is how we work with people, isn't it? They can't help you if they don't understand where you are, so we need to be able to communicate with them. Effective communication must always be personal, so it's about connecting one-to-one. Relationship between I care and I connect is very important. I'm able to connect with you if you think that I care about you. Number 6, you have to keep continually learning in order to have that passion to keep communicating and to be relevant in that particular area. So keep learning. Number 7, he said, I was born to think, write, create, speak, but I still have to continually develop those things. And number 8, how do you stop yourself from being distracted, John? Very simple. I don't allow myself to be distracted. He makes it sound a lot simpler than it actually is, doesn't it? So thanks so much for joining us in this masterclass from John Maxwell on communication. Don't forget to download the companion guide, as I said at the beginning. You can go to maxwellleadership.com/The Speaker's Edge. And remember, communication really is, you heard John say it, communication really is the most important skill you can develop. It is a learnable skill, so keep learning so that you can master your message and inspire your audience every single time you speak. Thanks for listening today. I look forward to seeing you in the next episode real soon. Take care. Lots of love. Bye-bye. God bless.